There's a law, not passed by Congress, not enforced by police, but violated, and you pay with your dreams, your health, your peace of mind. You don't get to ignore it, not without a cost. Now listen carefully. There is a law that governs every success story and every failure. It's not about luck. It's not about talent. It's about discipline. That's right. Discipline. The ability to do what needs to be done, whether you feel like it or not. You see, most people don't lose everything all at once. They lose it a little at a time. A few missed days at the gym, a few untracked dollars, a few broken promises to themselves, and it starts to compound. Not in their favor, but against them. One day you wake up and wonder, how did I get here? The answer? You ignored the law. Discipline is the silent architect of every great life, and neglect is its silent assassin. If you let this law slide, your health will slip, your money will vanish, your time will be stolen, and your confidence will fade. But here's the good news. Once you understand this law, once you apply it, your life can change faster than you ever imagined. So stay with me, because what you're about to hear may be the turning point. This isn't theory. This is the difference between a life of regret and a life of reward. Let's begin. The law of discipline, the missing link to everything you want. Let me tell you something simple, but serious. There's a law. It's not written in the rule book. It's not taught in most schools, but violate it, and you pay. Not with a ticket or a fine, but with your future. It's called the law of discipline. And here's what it says. Everything you want in life. Health, wealth, respect, peace of mind. It all depends on one thing. Your ability to do what you know you should do, even when you don't feel like it. That's discipline. Discipline is doing the thing when the mood has left you. It's waking up early when comfort says, sleep in. It's going for the run when your mind says, skip it today. It's making the call, reading the book, saving the money, keeping the promise, even when it's hard, even when it's dull, even when no one's watching. Let me give you the truth, plain and clear. You don't get what you wish for, you get what you work for, and work takes discipline. Now some people think discipline is a punishment. I say it's the path to freedom. Freedom from worry, freedom from debt, freedom from regret. You want to be free? Then you've got to be disciplined. Because here's what I've learned, and it took me a while. Discipline weighs ounces. Regret weighs tons. You don't lose everything all at once. No, you lose it inch by inch. You stop tracking your spending. You stop watching what you eat. You stop being on time. You stop giving your best. And one day you wake up and realize you're behind. Not just in work, but in life. You ask, how did this happen? It happened when you ignored the law. The law of discipline says this. Neglect enough small things long enough, and they become big things. Neglect your health, and you pay with illness. Neglect your finances, and you pay with stress. Neglect your relationships, and you pay with loneliness. Neglect your mind, and you pay with confusion. See, success doesn't show up overnight, but neither does failure. It's a process. It's built, or it's allowed. Discipline is the builder. Now I know what you're thinking. But Jim, I don't feel motivated. Let me straighten that out. Discipline comes before motivation, not the other way around. You don't wait to feel good to do good. You do good, and then you feel good. You don't wait to feel like working out. You put on your shoes, and you move. You don't wait to feel ready to save. You skip the latte, and you invest the 5. The act creates the energy. The behavior brings the belief. Now, what areas of your life are calling for discipline? Your health? Your finances? Your goals? Your character? Let me give you a challenge. A simple one. Choose one area of your life. Just one. And ask, what is one disciplined action I can take, starting today, that will move me forward? Write it down. Set an alarm. Make it non-negotiable. And keep that promise to yourself. Because here's the deal. When you stack enough disciplines together, day after day, you build confidence. And confidence is the foundation of greatness. You say, Jim, I want more success. Great. Discipline is the gatekeeper. You say, Jim, I want more peace. Beautiful. Discipline brings order, and order brings peace. You say, Jim, I want more time. Perfect. Discipline protects your time and gives you back your life. Friend, don't let life run you over because you failed to govern yourself. Discipline is not just a tool. It is the law. You don't break it. It breaks you. But the moment you honor it, the moment you respect it, that's the moment life starts to lean in your favor. Remember this truth and write it somewhere big. Discipline is the price you pay today for the rewards you want tomorrow. So pay the price. Make the choice. Keep the promise. You don't need perfect. You need consistent, because if you follow this law, if you live by it, you won't just get what you want, you'll become who you were meant to be. Let's move forward. The high cost of neglect. What happens if you ignore the law? Let me tell you something that's not very popular, but it's very real. Neglect has a cost, and it's not always immediate. That's what makes it so dangerous. If pain came right away, most people would course correct, but it doesn't. The pain of neglect is delayed. It hides behind comfort. It whispers, "You're fine. You can deal with it later." And by the time later arrives, you've lost something you didn't realize was slipping away. Let me give you the formula. A few errors in judgment, repeated every day, leads to disaster. Not all at once, not like an explosion, but slowly like a leak in your roof that goes unnoticed, until the whole ceiling caves in. That's how it works. Ignore your health, you don't feel it today. Maybe not tomorrow, but fast forward a year, and your energy is gone. The doctor's report isn't good. And you say, "How did this happen?" Neglect. Ignore your finances. You spend just a little too much, just a little too often. Swipe the card. No budget, no plan. It's fine for a while, until the debt piles up, the stress shows up, and the future you hoped for vanishes. Neglect. Ignore your relationships. You stop calling, you stop listening, you stop showing up. And one day the people who mattered the most are distant or gone. Not because of one big argument, but because of 1,000 little neglects. Neglect. You see, neglect is sneaky. It feels like rest, but it creates ruin. It feels like freedom, but it builds a prison. It feels like no big deal, until it becomes the big deal. The truth is, every neglected thing gets worse. Every one. Neglect your body. It breaks down. Neglect your mind. It weakens. Neglect your purpose. You drift. Neglect your gifts. They fade. Neglect your discipline, and everything else begins to fall apart. That's the law. Not mine. The law of life. You don't get to ignore the law of gravity and float safely through the air. You don't get to ignore the law of discipline and still expect a meaningful, powerful life. Here's the painful reality. If you don't pay the price of discipline now, you will pay the price of regret later. And that bill? That bill comes with interest. So ask yourself, what are you neglecting right now? It might be small, that unread book, that unopened budget, that honest conversation you keep avoiding, that morning routine you keep skipping. But if you leave it unchecked, it grows. And one day you won't just lose a habit, you'll lose momentum, then confidence, then peace of mind, then time. And that's the real tragedy. Not what you lost, but who you could have become. Now don't misunderstand me. We've all neglected things. We've all missed the mark. But discipline, the very thing you neglected, is also the thing that brings you back. Discipline redeems the time. It repairs the damage. It reclaims your future. But you've got to act. So let me leave you with this challenge. Don't just feel bad about your neglect. Feel responsible. Because when you take responsibility, you take back your power. You say, "I won't keep ignoring the law. I won't keep saying someday. I will correct the course." Now, it starts with awareness, but it ends with action. So, what needs your attention today? Give it. Because neglect is silent until it's not. And by then you'll wish you had done something sooner. Make today that sooner. The magic of small things. Why little disciplines matter most. Let's talk about the little things. You know, the things that seem too small to matter, too easy to skip, too light to feel. A 10-minute walk, reading 5 pages of a good book, saving $10 from your paycheck, waking up 30 minutes earlier, saying thank you instead of staying silent. Seems small, doesn't it? But let me give you the truth. What's small today becomes significant tomorrow, if done consistently. See, most people are waiting for something big to happen. A big opportunity, a big break, a big change. But the truth? Big doors swing on little hinges. The big results you want. The wealth, the health, the confidence, the peace. They don't come from one heroic leap. They come from 1,000 little disciplined steps, repeated every single day. The person who becomes fit didn't run a marathon on day one. They just said no to dessert and yes to a walk. And then they did it again and again. The person who builds wealth didn't win the lottery. They saved a little, then invested a little, then chose a book over a new pair of shoes. Small things. But here's the challenge. Because they're small, they're easy to do, but also easy not to do. And therein lies the danger. Neglect starts in the small, but so does greatness. You skip one workout. No big deal. You skip one payment. You'll catch up. You skip one apology. They'll understand. You skip one day of gratitude. Who needs it? But do that long enough, and you'll see the compound effect at work. In the wrong direction. You see, everything compounds. Every action either builds you or breaks you. It doesn't stay neutral. I used to say, the things that are easy to do are also easy not to do. And that's what separates winners from wishers. Discipline doesn't have to be painful, but it does have to be daily. Let me give you an example. What happens if you read 10 pages of a good book each day? Well, that's about 300 pages a month. That's 15 books a year. And in 5 years, you've absorbed the wisdom of a lifetime. Just 10 pages at a time. Now ask yourself, what could you do daily that would change your life yearly? Not someday, not when you're motivated. Now, because the life you want isn't hidden in the dramatic. It's built in the daily. Show me your daily disciplines, and I'll show you your future. Want better health? Start drinking more water. Want more peace? Start your morning without your phone. Want more clarity? Write down your goals each morning. Want more income? Spend 1 hour learning a valuable skill every day. It's small until it's not, because the seed becomes the tree. The $5 becomes the fortune. The morning walk becomes the marathon. The short journal becomes the clear mind. The daily practice becomes the legendary performance. And the best part, you're always one small discipline away from momentum. You don't have to fix it all today. You don't have to change everything overnight. Just choose one small thing and do it. Then repeat and repeat again. And before long, you'll look back and say, wow, look what happened from something so small. So here's your challenge. Identify one small discipline. Something you've been underestimating. Make it non-negotiable this week. Track it. Honor it. Protect it. Watch how it grows. Because if you master the small, the big will take care of itself. Remember, the magic you're looking for is hidden in the consistency you're avoiding. Let's get to work. One small step at a time. Discipline is a muscle, and it must be trained daily. Let me give you a picture. Think of discipline like a muscle. If you train it, it grows stronger. If you neglect it, it weakens. It's not a character trait reserved for the elite. It's not something written in your DNA. It's not just who you are. Discipline is a skill, and like any skill, it can be built, strengthened, stretched, conditioned. But here's the catch. It must be trained daily. Now, I'm not talking about perfection. I'm talking about practice. Daily decisions that shape your strength. Daily effort that builds your edge. Daily promises kept that create your confidence. Because if you only act disciplined when it's convenient, you'll never build the power to perform when it's critical. Here's a simple truth. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, your discipline muscle grows. Every time you don't, it shrinks. You wake up when the alarm goes off. That's a rep. You write down your goals. That's a rep. You say no to what doesn't serve you. That's a rep. You finish the thing you started. Another rep. And let me tell you, the reps matter more than the results. Why? Because consistency creates identity. The more you show up with discipline, the more you believe, this is who I am. You're not just someone who tries to be healthy. You're someone who follows through. You're not just someone who wants to be wealthy. You're someone who saves, studies, invests. You're not just someone who hopes for confidence. You're someone who earns it by doing the hard thing on schedule. Now let's be honest. Discipline isn't always glamorous. It's not loud. It's not flashy. It doesn't post well on social media. But it wins. Quietly. Steadily. Every single day. Because the disciplined person keeps moving, while the undisciplined waits for motivation to return. And listen, you won't always feel like it. But that's the point. Discipline is doing it, especially when you don't feel like it. If it were always easy, everybody would be wealthy, healthy, respected, and fulfilled. But the truth is, most people let their feelings dictate their actions. Disciplined people flip the formula. They let their actions dictate their feelings. They act first, then the feelings follow. They get up before they feel ready. They speak up when it's uncomfortable. They push forward when the crowd pulls back. Why? Because they've trained for it. And the more they train, the more they trust themselves. You want confidence? Train your discipline. You want freedom? Train your discipline. You want peace of mind? Train your discipline. Because the stronger your discipline muscle gets, the more you can carry responsibility, pressure, opportunity. So let me challenge you today. Start your reps, no excuses, no waiting. You don't need to go to the discipline gym for 2 hours. Just do one thing you said you would do, and then do it again tomorrow. Write the paragraph. Drink the water. Make the call. Shut off the distractions. Turn off the TV. Set the alarm. And honor it. And every time you do, you're becoming stronger than the average. Because the average person lets comfort win. But you're training for greatness. Let me leave you with this. Discipline isn't a demand. It's a decision. One that must be made daily, not occasionally. You don't rise to your dreams. You fall to the level of your disciplines. So start small. Stay consistent. Get strong. Because once that muscle is built, your whole life changes. Emotional discipline, mastering the storm within. Let me ask you something important. Have you ever made a bad decision when you were angry? Have you ever said something you wish you could take back? Spent money you didn't have? Burned a bridge that didn't need burning? Of course you have. We all have. But here's the truth. You will never live a strong life if you're ruled by weak emotions. That's why we need emotional discipline. Emotional discipline is the ability to feel everything, but respond with wisdom, to face pressure, but not crack, to hold your ground, even when your feelings beg you to react, retreat, or explode. It's the skill of mastering the storm within, before it sinks the ship you're sailing. You see, life will test you. People will frustrate you. Circumstances will shake you. But none of that is what determines your success. It's not what happens that determines your outcome. It's what you do about it. The undisciplined person lets their emotions drive the car and ends up in a ditch. The disciplined person feels the emotion, but still chooses the direction. That's maturity. That's mastery. That's power. Now listen, I'm not saying ignore your emotions. I'm saying lead them. Your emotions are passengers, not pilots. They can ride with you, but they don't get to steer. Because when anger steers, you lose relationships. When fear steers, you miss opportunities. When jealousy steers, you forget your own value. When sadness steers, you stop moving altogether. That's why emotional discipline is not optional. It's essential. You've got to develop the habit of pressing pause, of creating space between the emotion and the response. Feel the fire, but don't let it burn your future. Take a breath. Take a walk. Take 24 hours. But don't take action in the heat of emotional chaos. Because here's the formula. Emotion plus reaction equals sign regret. Emotion plus discipline equals sign growth. So how do you build emotional discipline? Let me give you 3 simple practices. 1. Name what you're feeling. Most people get overwhelmed because they don't know what they're feeling. They just know they don't like it. So when the emotion rises, name it. I'm frustrated. I feel disrespected. I'm anxious. When you name it, you tame it. 2. Choose the response, not the reaction. A reaction is immediate. A response is intentional. Give yourself time. Ask, what would the best version of me do right now? Respond from values, not from moods. 3. Train your inner voice. Your mind is always listening. So train your inner dialogue to be strong and steady. Replace, I can't take this, with I can handle this calmly. Replace, this always happens to me, with I'm learning how to deal with this better. You see, emotional discipline doesn't make you cold. It makes you clear. It doesn't shut you down. It lifts you up. It doesn't bury your emotions. It channels them into something better. Because let's be honest, life is full of emotional weather. Sunny days, stormy days, dry spells, unexpected floods. But if you let the weather control your direction, you'll always be lost at sea. You can't control the wind, but you can control the set of the sail. And the sail is set with discipline, especially emotional discipline. So the next time you feel overwhelmed, angry, sad, or afraid, don't run, don't lash out, don't spiral. Stand still, breathe, reflect, decide, then move. Because when you master your emotions, you don't just gain control, you gain power. The power to stay calm in chaos. The power to choose your words wisely. The power to keep moving forward, even when your feelings beg you to quit. Let me leave you with this. Your emotions are signals, not instructions. Listen to them, learn from them, but don't let them lead you. The storm may rage, but you can still steer the ship. That's emotional discipline. Let's keep going. Financial discipline. Your future is counting on you. Let's talk about a topic most people avoid until it's too late. Money, finances. Your economic future. Now, I'm not here to preach poverty, and I'm not here to promise millions. I'm here to deliver a truth that changed my life and can change yours. If you don't master money, money will master you. And how do you master it? Not by wishing for more, not by winning the lottery, not by blaming inflation, the boss, or the economy. You master money by mastering financial discipline. You see, financial success has very little to do with how much you earn, but it has everything to do with how well you manage what you earn. In fact, I've seen people making $50,000 a year live with peace, joy, and growing wealth because they had a plan. And I've seen people making $500,000 drowning in debt because they had no discipline. It's not about what you make. It's about what you keep, where it goes, and who it grows. Here's what I learned the hard way. If you don't tell your money where to go, you'll always wonder where it went. Money without discipline is like water in your hands. It slips through your fingers faster than you can earn it. But when you apply discipline, that money turns into a tool, a servant, a seed that multiplies. So let's talk about the basics. Simple, powerful practices you can start today. 1. Track every dollar. What gets measured, gets mastered. If you don't know how much you're spending, you're losing money somewhere, and the worst leaks are the ones you don't see. Discipline begins with awareness. Write it down. Use an app. Create a system. Even if it's uncomfortable, face it. Clarity leads to control. 2. Live below your means. Let me say it plain. Just because you can buy it doesn't mean you should. Financial pressure comes not from lack, but from lifestyle creep. You earn more, and you spend more. Discipline says, I'll wait, I'll save, I'll invest, I'll build before I indulge. Warren Buffett still drives the same car. That's not because he can't afford a better one. It's because he understands value. Discipline isn't about deprivation. It's about direction. 3. Save a portion of every dollar. No matter how small, here's the my formula. 10 cents out of every dollar. Put it away. That's not just money. That's character being built. If you can't save $10 out of $100, you won't magically become wise with $10,000 out of $100,000. Saving is not about amount. It's about habit. Every dollar saved is a brick laid in the foundation of your future. 4. Invest in things that multiply, not just entertain. There's nothing wrong with buying things that make you smile. But be careful, because every dollar is either building your future freedom or feeding your current appetite. Books, courses, skills, real assets. These multiply. Fast food, fashion fads, flashy gadgets. These fade. Discipline is choosing the long-term win over the short-term want. 5. Avoid the trap of debt. Especially for liabilities, debt, when used carelessly, is financial quicksand. Credit cards are not free money. They are high-interest regrets waiting to happen. If you must borrow, borrow with a plan, with a purpose, and with a payoff timeline. Discipline means delaying gratification, because financial freedom is worth the wait. 6. Give generously. But with wisdom, discipline doesn't mean stinginess. In fact, generosity is part of good stewardship. But give on purpose, not under pressure. Set aside a portion for causes you believe in, and give with joy, not guilt. Discipline isn't just about keeping. It's about choosing wisely where your money flows. Now listen, if your financial life feels like a mess right now, don't panic. You're not alone, and you're not broken. But you do need a plan. You need structure. You need discipline. Because your future is counting on you. Your family is counting on you. Your peace of mind is counting on you. And it's not about how much money you have. It's about what you do with what you have. Let me leave you with this. Discipline is the art of creating a future you can be proud of. Every disciplined dollar is a vote for your vision. So treat your money like it matters, because it does. Your future deserves a leader, not a spender. So step up, take the reins, and show your money who's boss. Let's keep building. Time discipline. Life responds to priority, not pressure. Let's talk about the one resource you can't make more of. Time, money, you can earn more. Energy, you can recharge. Reputation, you can rebuild. But time, once it's spent, it's gone. You don't get it back. That's why time discipline is one of the most important skills you'll ever develop. You see, most people don't lose their time. They leak it. Through distraction, procrastination, and disorganization. And then what happens? They live in pressure mode. Always behind. Always rushed. Always stressed. But here's the truth. If you don't run your day will run you. And if your days run you, your life will pass you. You don't need more time. What you need is better use of the time you already have. Let me say that again. You don't need more hours. You need more focus. You don't need more speed. You need more intention. Because the clock doesn't care. It just keeps ticking. So let's get practical. Let's get disciplined. Let's talk about how to take back control of your time. 1. Identify what matters. Then put it first. Most people are busy, but not productive. They're doing a lot, but accomplishing very little. Why? Because they haven't defined what actually matters. Time discipline begins with clarity. If you don't know your top 3 priorities, you're going to say yes to every distraction that shows up. Write this down. If everything is important, then nothing is. So decide what deserves your best hours. Put that first, not after the noise, not after the emails, not after you check social media. Put it first. That's discipline. 2. Use a planner, not your memory. Your brain was made for thinking, not storage. Trying to manage your schedule in your head is like juggling fire while blindfolded. Something's going to get burned. Use a calendar, a to-do list, a timer, a system. Write down what matters. Schedule your values. Plan your progress. Discipline means planning your day before it starts, not reacting once it's halfway gone. 3. Say no without apology. Let me give you a truth. You must learn to say no to the good, so you can say yes to the great. Not every meeting is worth your time. Not every invitation deserves your energy. Not every message needs a reply right now. Saying yes to everything is how you burn out. Saying yes to your vision means you must say no to things that don't align. That's not rude. That's responsible. 4. Turn your minutes into meaning. You don't need a 4-hour window to make progress. You just need focused minutes. 15 minutes of reading a day. That's over 20 books a year. 20 minutes of walking. That's better health over time. 10 minutes of journaling. That's clarity and gratitude for the day. Don't underestimate small focused pockets of time, because time doesn't need to be long. It needs to be intentional. 5. Create boundaries and honor them. Discipline also means protecting your time. You wouldn't let strangers walk into your house uninvited. So don't let distractions walk into your schedule unfiltered. Turn off notifications, set working hours, and stick to them. Create time for your family, your rest, your learning, and defend it like your future depends on it. Because it does. 6. Reflect daily and adjust weekly. At the end of each day, ask, did I do what matters most? Where did I waste time? What will I do differently tomorrow? Don't wait until the end of the year to evaluate your time. Discipline means you check in daily and course correct quickly, because time drifts when it's not tracked. Now let me be clear. You're not going to master time overnight. You'll have slip-ups. You'll waste an hour here, a day there. But with discipline and a plan, you can build a life where your time is aligned with your values, your goals, and your purpose. And that's the secret. Because the disciplined person doesn't just spend time, they invest it. And every investment compounds. Let me leave you with this. Don't prioritize your schedule. Schedule your priorities. Make room for what matters. Build discipline into your days, and your days will build your dream. Let's move forward with purpose, not pressure. Discipline in relationships. Love doesn't excuse laziness. Let's talk about something powerful and often misunderstood: relationships. Now you might be thinking, Jim, what does discipline have to do with relationships? Let me tell you everything. You see, people think love is enough, but I'm here to tell you the truth. Love may start the fire, but only discipline keeps it burning. Because let's be honest, it's easy to say, I love you. It's harder to show up on time, to listen without interrupting, to be kind when you're frustrated, to forgive when it's easier to blame, to put the phone down and be present. And that takes discipline. Let me say something direct. Love doesn't excuse laziness. You don't get a free pass just because your heart feels warm. Feelings don't build strong relationships. Consistent, disciplined actions do. Discipline means you follow through when you say, I'll call you tonight. You honor your promises. Even when you're tired, you apologize first. Even when your pride screams, don't, you say thank you for the little things. Over and over again. Because without discipline, love turns into assumption. And assumption turns into neglect. And neglect, that's where relationships die. Let me put it to you like this. Discipline keeps you showing up long after the butterflies are gone. And that's where real connection grows. In the ordinary, in the mundane, in the daily discipline of showing up with intention. Here's the hard truth. Many relationships fail not because of betrayal, but because of gradual emotional laziness. You stop paying attention. You stop doing the small things. You stop growing. You become comfortable, and then complacent. But discipline, it keeps the connection alive. It keeps the respect intact. It keeps the love evolving instead of eroding. So what does relational discipline look like? Let's break it down. 1. Discipline to communicate clearly. Not with sarcasm. Not with silence, but with clarity and care. You don't expect your partner to read your mind. You speak your needs. And you listen to theirs. 2. Discipline to stay consistent. Love doesn't need grand gestures. It needs reliable presence. A good morning text. A kind word. A follow-up. A reminder that you matter. Small things done consistently build unshakable trust. 3. Discipline to grow together. You grow in your skills, your thinking, your habits, and you encourage them to grow too. Because when one person grows and the other stays stuck, the distance widens. Discipline keeps you aligned, learning, growing, moving forward together. 4. Discipline to protect the relationship. You don't let the world interrupt what you're building. That means setting boundaries. That means unplugging during dinner. That means resolving conflict, not sweeping it under the rug. That means choosing us, even when it's inconvenient. Now hear this. Discipline in relationships isn't about being cold or calculated. It's not robotic. It's not forced. It's about honoring the people you care about with intentional effort. Because love without discipline says, I'll love you when it's easy. But love with discipline says, I'll love you on purpose. Even when I'm tired. Even when I'm busy. Even when life is messy. That's the love that lasts. That's the partnership that thrives. That's the marriage that strengthens over decades, not just months. So let me ask you, where are you being lazy? In the name of love. It's time to upgrade your effort. It's time to turn love into a verb, backed by discipline, not just emotion. Let me leave you with this. The best relationships aren't built on perfect chemistry. They're built on daily commitment. And commitment, my friend, is a discipline. So show up, speak with kindness, listen with presence, act with intention. Because if it matters to you, it deserves your best discipline. Let's keep building. Discipline is the foundation of freedom. Now that may sound backwards to some people. They say, Jim, I don't want to live a disciplined life. I want to be free. But there's the misunderstanding. They confuse freedom with impulse. They think freedom means doing whatever they want, whenever they want, however they feel. But listen to me closely. That's not freedom. That's chaos. That's regret. That's bondage. Wearing a smile. You see, real freedom isn't the absence of structure. It's the result of living by the right structure. And that structure is called discipline. Let me give you the truth in plain terms. Discipline builds the habits. The habits build the life. The life brings the freedom. Discipline says, I wake up on time, so I own my day. I eat right, so I own my energy. I save money, so I own my future. I say no, so I can say yes to what matters. I keep promises to myself, so I trust myself. You can't be free if your emotions run you. You can't be free if your debt owns you. You can't be free if your past controls you. You can't be free if you can't say no to what weakens you. Freedom is not a gift. It's a consequence, a reward, a result. And the price is discipline. Let's make it real. Want financial freedom? You need financial discipline. Spend less than you earn. Invest consistently. Stay out of debt. Want physical freedom? You need health discipline. Exercise, rest, fuel your body, say no to the junk. Want emotional freedom? You need mental discipline. Control your thoughts. Master your responses. Protect your peace. Want time freedom? You need priority discipline. Stop wasting your life on things that don't matter. You see, without discipline, you'll always be owned by something. A craving, a bill, a bad habit, a toxic pattern. But with discipline, you own yourself. And that, my friend, is the greatest freedom there is. Let me give you an example. Picture two people. One does whatever he wants, whenever he feels like it, sleeps late, eats junk, spends carelessly, says yes to every distraction. Looks like freedom, right? Now fast forward 5 years. He's tired, broke, anxious, and stuck. Now picture another person. Wakes up early, works out, saves money, guards her time, keeps her word. Tough. Sure, but in 5 years, she's healthy, confident, financially strong, in control of her life. Discipline looks like restriction in the short term, but it always leads to freedom in the long term. Let me say that again. Short-term ease creates long-term captivity. Short-term discipline creates long-term freedom. So don't fall for the lie that says discipline is harsh. Discipline is honor. It's respect for your future self. It's the bridge from pain to purpose, from drifting to direction, from limitation to liberty. You want more freedom? Then ask yourself, where do I need more discipline? Because when you build the muscle of discipline, you're not just controlling behavior, you're creating leverage. And leverage makes life easier. Your health works for you. Your money works for you. Your time flows with you. Your habits carry you, instead of you carrying them. Now that's freedom. Let me leave you with this. Freedom is not the right to do whatever you want. It's the strength to do what's right, even when it's hard. Discipline is the doorway. The price may feel heavy, but the reward is unshakable freedom. So build it, keep it, honor it. Because when you live by discipline, you live free. Obey the law, or lose it all. Now let's bring it home. We've walked through it all. The law of discipline, the cost of neglect, the quiet power of daily action, the role of discipline in money, health, time, emotions, and freedom. But here's where the rubber meets the road. You will either align with the law of discipline, or you will be broken by the weight of your own inconsistency. There's no neutral ground here, no middle lane. Life doesn't wait for you to feel ready. The clock is ticking. Your body is aging. Your opportunities are passing. Your dreams are collecting dust in the attic of good intentions. And the gap between where you are and where you could be, that gap is filled, not by motivation, not by luck, not by wishing, but by discipline. Discipline is the hinge on which your future swings. Close it, and everything shuts down. Open it, and the door of possibility flies wide. Let me give it to you straight. You want love that lasts? You'll need the discipline to show up, to communicate, to grow. You want financial peace? You'll need the discipline to say no today, so you can say yes tomorrow. You want confidence? Discipline is the soil it grows in. Every kept promise, every early morning, every finish line crossed. You want time freedom? You must rule your calendar like a leader, not a victim. And you want fulfillment? You'll only find it on the path of purpose, and purpose demands discipline. Now I'm not saying it'll be easy, but I am saying it'll be worth it. Because when you obey this law, when you live by discipline, your life begins to cooperate. You move with clarity. You speak with power. You decide with confidence. You sleep with peace. That's the life most people want, but never get. Why? Because they ignore the law. They choose convenience over commitment, comfort over calling, delay over decision, and in doing so they lose everything they once hoped for. But you won. You don't have to follow that path. You can choose a better way. Right now, you can say no more waiting, no more drifting, no more ignoring the law. You can say from this day forward, I will lead my life with discipline. And when you do, you won't just save your time, or your money, or your relationships. You'll save yourself. So here's your final charge. Obey the law, or lose it all. Choose the pain of discipline, or live with the pain of regret. Build the habit, or carry the consequences. It's your move, but just know, the law is always working. Make sure it's working for you, not against you. Let's build a life worth living, one disciplined decision at a time. The future is waiting.